The arrow flew straight and struck the boy. The young boy placed his hand over the wound, smiled gently, and closed his eyes as his soul departed. The king laughed, believing he had finally won. But as he looked toward the crowd, a deafening cry began to rise from thousands of voices. "We believe in the Lord of this boy! We believe in the Lord of this boy!" In trying to silence the truth, the tyrant had unknowingly proclaimed it to his entire kingdom. It became one of history's most powerful reminders that true victory is not always measured by who survives the battle, but by which truth lives on long after the tyrant is gone. But this wasn't where the story began. It began years earlier, with a king who believed no power was greater than his own. Long before our time, there lived a tyrant king whose authority stretched across an entire kingdom. He demanded absolute obedience from every person under his rule. Yet despite all his power, one fear haunted him above all others: that people might worship someone other than him. To strengthen his control, the king relied heavily upon a royal sorcerer, whose illusions amazed the people and reinforced the king's false claim to greatness. Years passed, and the sorcerer grew old. Realizing that his life was nearing its end, he warned the king, "My time in this world is ending. Send me a clever young boy." The king searched throughout the kingdom and chose a boy known for his intelligence and sharp mind. What the king believed would secure his throne would instead become the beginning of its downfall. Every day, the boy traveled to learn from the royal sorcerer. But along his journey, he passed a quiet place where a righteous monk worshipped Allah in solitude. Curious, the boy entered. The monk spoke to him about the creator of the heavens and the earth, the one God who alone deserved worship. The words settled deeply into the boy's heart. From that day onward, he found himself living between two worlds. Each morning he delayed his arrival to sit with the monk and learn about faith. Each afternoon, he lingered to listen even longer before returning to the sorcerer. The sorcerer soon noticed. Whenever the boy arrived late, he beat him. Bruised and frightened, the boy sought advice from the monk. The monk replied, "If the sorcerer asks why you are late." The boy followed his advice. Yet with every passing day, one question grew louder within him. Who truly possessed real power? The king, the sorcerer, or the Lord whom the monk worshipped? Then one day, everything changed. A massive beast blocked the road, trapping crowds of terrified people. No one dared move forward. The boy stood among them, watching. He remembered everything the monk had taught him, holding a stone in his hand. He quietly prayed, "O Allah, if the way of the monk is more beloved to you than the way of the sorcerer, then cause this beast to die by this stone, so that the people may pass." He threw it. The stone struck the beast, and by Allah's permission, it died instantly. The road opened. The people passed. The boy rushed to tell the monk what had happened. The monk smiled gently. "My son, today you have become better than me. I know that you will soon be tested. When that test comes, do not reveal who I am." Those words would soon prove prophetic. By Allah's permission, extraordinary blessings began appearing through the boy. The blind regained their sight. The sick found healing. People traveled from distant towns seeking his prayers. Soon, news reached one of the king's closest advisors, a man who had long been blind. Bringing valuable gifts, he came before the boy and said, "All of this is yours if you restore my sight." The boy replied, "I heal no one. It is Allah alone who grants healing. If you believe in him and ask him sincerely, he may restore your sight." The advisor believed. The boy prayed. By Allah's permission, his sight returned. Overwhelmed, the advisor returned to the royal court. When the king asked who had restored his vision, he replied, "My lord." The king frowned. "Do you have a lord besides me?" The advisor answered calmly, "My lord, and your lord, is Allah." Enraged, the king ordered him tortured until he revealed the source of his faith. At last, he spoke of the boy. The king summoned him. When the boy refused to abandon his belief in Allah, the king ordered the monk and the advisor brought before him. One after another, they were commanded to renounce their faith. Both refused. Both were executed before the boy's eyes. Yet even then, the boy remained firm. The king now saw only one solution: kill the boy. The king now saw only one solution: kill the boy. He ordered soldiers to take him to the top of a mountain and throw him from its peak. As they climbed, the boy prayed, "O Allah, protect me from them in whatever way you will." The mountain shook violently. The soldiers fell. The boy walked safely back to the king. Furious, the king tried again. This time he ordered soldiers to carry the boy into the sea and drown him. Once again the boy prayed. The sea overturned the boat. The soldiers drowned. The boy calmly returned to the king. Now the king stood powerless before an unarmed child. Finally the boy said, "You will never be able to kill me unless you do exactly as I tell you." The king listened. The boy said, "Gather all the people in one place. Crucify me upon a tree. Take an arrow from my quiver. Place it in your bow. And say, 'In the name of Allah, the Lord of this boy.'" The king did exactly that. The arrow flew and struck the boy. The boy placed his hand over the wound, smiled, and his soul departed. The king believed he had won. Instead, thousands of voices erupted across the crowd. "We believe in the Lord of this boy!" The very words the king had spoken to kill the boy became the reason an entire nation embraced faith. Realizing his mistake, the king ordered trenches to be dug and filled with blazing fire. Those who refused to abandon their belief were cast into the flames, choosing faith over life itself. Many scholars have connected this event with the people mentioned in Surah Al-Buruj, while also recognizing that scholarly discussion exists regarding the exact historical relationship. The king's kingdom disappeared into history. The faith of that young boy did not. More than 14 centuries later, his courage continues to remind millions that true victory is not measured by worldly power, but by unwavering faith in Allah, even in the face of death.